Couple of archetypes that is really misunderstood, really highly misunderstood about the sun being sign of Capricorn is that Capricorn is boring, dull, rigid, way too serious. That's highly likely not going to be the case because Capricorn is right in between the signs of Sagittarius, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Pisces. So there's a high chance that if you do have a sun in Capricorn, you could have your Venus or your Mars or your Mercury in Sagittarius or Aquarius, which is Aquarius is highly quirky and Sagittarius is highly carefree. So there's a very high chance that having a sun in Capricorn is not going to result in being dull or boring or rigid or too serious. The sun is about the identity of someone and how they identify as being in the world. The sun does not do that well, as I mentioned before, in earth signs. So having a sun here could mean that the identity of this person is not so well defined. Therefore, you might tend to identify with other things. In the case of Capricorn, you are highly likely to identify with how successful you can be in the world. You're highly likely to identify with the image that you give off to the world rather than who you really are inside. And the image that you give off to the world is very important because it's almost like the image that people see. So it could be like on social media, it could be at work, it could be with colleagues, acquaintances, friends. This image is basically who you are, if that makes any sense. How you are out there in the world is basically who you are when you're at home, but it's not, because it is ultimately an image. We all have something deeper within ourselves, but the Capricorn sun, at least earlier in their lives, are going to just identify with how much success they can really get in the world. Now and also they're going to identify with how much respect they can get in the world. And this is kind of funny because sometimes Capricorn suns can be really funny people because people who are humorous tend to gain more respect for some reason in our culture today. So they tend to be really funny people and they tend to make a lot of jokes because that tends to give a good image, tend to get the respect that they need. So at a low functioning Capricorn sun, the identity is, well, I don't necessarily want to say the word shallow, but could be a little bit shallow because it's really just about who they are out there in the world. And it doesn't matter who I am at home. It doesn't matter. That part of me is just, it's just about how other people are seeing me. But at a higher functioning sun in Capricorn, it's all about understanding that success is not just about success in the world. Success in the world is one kind of success, but to be successful as a person is another kind of success. And to be successful as a human being, as a person, you really need to know yourself and know who you really are deep inside. So at a higher functioning, highest expression of a Capricorn sun sign is someone who is really successful, can be really materially successful, having a good image, a good reputation in the world, but also lives true to who they really are deep inside. They've spent time to look inside themselves and not be afraid to bring that part of themselves out, because a lot of the time with the Capricorn sign being associated with the planet Saturn, with this, which is the planet of limitations, boundaries, hard lessons in life, there is almost a blind spot when this sign is not functioning very well. The identity is kind of blinded by material success in the world. So it's really hard for them to kind of just look inside themselves and step over the boundary of achieving. When they are going through the process of trying to discover who they really are deep down inside, they can go through a period of competition, competing, challenging themselves. And this is like some of the lessons that they have to learn. And a lot of them may associate the challenges metaphorically. So they may have something going on in their lives, like they are trying to provide for their family, but they're also trying to uphold a really good reputation, but they're also trying to pursue their own hobbies. So they could have these tensions going on in their life, and they can translate this metaphorically into, for example, mountain climbing, running marathons, things like that, just to kind of, how do I say it? Because it's an earth sign, it's kind of like they need something that is tangible, that is practical, to show them that they are also, that they can do it in their own lives. So if they're successful with the marathon, with the mountain climbing, these practical things, these more tangible things, then it's a proof that what they're managing in their own life, with families, with work, and with their own emotions, is also working out well. And ultimately, what they're doing is they're building, when they're mountain climbing, mountain climbing is just an example, all right? When they're doing mountain climbing or any kind of sports that require stamina, they are kind of building the kind of emotions, the strength and emotions that they need in order to cope with the things that they are doing that's causing them a lot of stress in their everyday lives. So I think in a way it's very strategic how the identity of the Sun in the Capricorn person is. It's a very strategic kind of identity, but it works for them, you know, to metaphorically, well, to build that emotional strength in this kind of, in a way that they choose to build the strength, and then go and apply that into the problems or the tensions they have, the tensions that they actually have in their lives. Tarot card that I've picked for the Sun being in the sign of Capricorn is something that I just chose based on what I think. It's not from a textbook or anything. I just went through the cards and I picked one that I felt resonates with this sun sign, and I've picked this card right here. Strength. So as you can see in the card, there is a woman, and she is basically a friend with the lion. She's taming the lion. She has power over the lion, but at the same time she's in tune with nature because she's got vine leaves going on, and it's wrapping around her and wrapping around the lion, and she's walking, you know, together as friends with the lion. So I see that the Capricorn sun sign has an identity that is all about strength, because Saturn being the ruler of Capricorn, there's a lot of lessons that they have to learn when it comes to their identity, when it comes to the definition of success, which nowadays is not necessarily a traditional sense. So whatever success that they're trying to achieve is going to bring them a lot of hardship and a lot of tension, but they have to try to gain those success because that's who they are, that's their identity. But there's a lot of hardship involved, so hence the mountain climbing, hence the marathons, hence the strength card. So onto my experience with the Sun in a Capricorn people. I have a couple of friends who have their Sun in Capricorn, but I don't think that I have like many people who have their Sun in the sign of Capricorn, but I do have some planets in the sign of Capricorn, so I can kind of understand the vibes of this sign. The people that I know that have their Capricorn Sun are mostly women, and the first thing that I know about these people is that they're very, very funny, and they love to drink. They love to get drunk, They love to dance, they love to go night clubbing, and just let it all loose. I think it's part of their way of releasing, you know, all the tensions and all the hardships that they have going on when they're trying to do so much to achieve in the world. They love to party with friends. They love to party with friends and just, yeah, just let it all go, you know, let it all loose. And when I say that they like to let it loose, I really mean that they like to let it loose. Like they are not afraid to just sleep on the streets after being completely drunk, if you know what I mean. Not all of them are necessarily like that, but there's a tendency to, you know, have that with them. They are also, what I've noticed with this sun sign is that very good advisors. They don't, like, if you go to them for an advice, they're not necessarily going to sympathize with you or feel whatever it is that you feel, but they can understand from a perspective of groundedness and logic. It's almost kind of like, yeah, you feel this way because that's what that happens, and people are just like this. They have a very good understanding of human nature. Yeah, especially if they have like other things, other planets in Aquarius, then they have a very good understanding of human nature, and they can be kind of like, oh, that you feel like this because this happened. It's okay, it's fine, you're gonna feel better. Things like that. And they also tend to, I don't think I've known a Sun in Capricorn person who I don't consider to be like quite materially successful for that particular person. They tend to be, I have a friend, I mean, like, I know a Sun in Capricorn who the people that I know who have their Suns in Capricorns are either like now own a company, or yeah, I think two of them own a company. One of them is just really just extremely successful financially. One of them is quite young and she's already like pretty successful for her age. Yeah, so there is a certain amount of achievement that comes with having this sun sign. I think that's all I have to say. That's my take on having the sun in the sign of Capricorn. If you have your sun in Capricorn, or you know someone who has their sun in Capricorn, please leave a comment below. I would love to hear all about your experience. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button if you like this kind of content, and turn on your notifications so you know when I post more astrology videos. That's all. Bye!